Today I want to go over the unfortunate demise of the mobile app Amino, more specifically going over my experiences using the app for over 6 years, and how much potential was wasted. This video was not sponsored. Although Amino was made in 2012, it was released to the app stores in 2016, under the ownership and development of the company Navry. I want to recollect my experiences using the app since 2017, and the unfortunate end to such a wonderful concept I truly loved. Amino is a social media application that you can get on mobile and later on PC that revolves around having the creation and involvement of very specific communities everyone and anyone can make. And I mean anyone. For example, the first communities I joined were the furry community, which now has 500,000 members, and I joined communities such as the pet communities, which were also very large at the time. What you do is you enter the community and you only see posts relating to that community and that topic. You can make a variety of different engaging types of posts and interact with others like any other platform through messaging or comments. The fact that this is so segmented is the true appeal to me and always has been. You can be your furry self on one side of the Amino, and then a manipulative weeb on the anime Amino. Yeah. Your main profile isn't tracked across these different communities easily, as you can edit your community-specific profiles within each different Amino to reflect whatever you want. Different names, different profile pictures, different features, different bios, you name it. But all this customizability and the involvement from the community is what I loved the most. I made new friends, new discoveries about myself, and found my new passion for life through the Pacific Rim community on Amino. But the app has always had its downsides, and I'm no stranger to them. I was groomed on this app, scammed many times, insulted, stolen from, and just generally silenced for being aware of the corruption within. Remember when I said anyone can make a community on Amino? Well, there's really not much regulation of this, and literal children can run communities for whatever topic they like. People can make central hubs for very niche topics. But then on the other end of it all, you have nonces running wild with their private communities that you need approval to join. Anything can go down in a place like that. They are typically not ever overviewed by the developers of the app. Now this freedom to run your community the way you want runs throughout all the staff and admins who run these tiny Aminos and larger scale Aminos. They are the gods of their realm, and their word is gospel. You just have to hope that whatever community you join isn't corrupted and is ran by genuinely wholesome and enthusiastic people who want the place to be safe, who want it to be free from this corruption. Now you have a rough idea of what the app contains and the issues that are present within it. It's time to go over my experiences with some of the largest communities on Amino. I've timestamped them below if you want to jump to specific sections or specific stories, but man, it does get wild. But let's jump right in and let me tell you about my time in the furry fandom on Amino. I know my audience, and I can guarantee you're probably on this app if you're a furry, or at least heard of it by an old sponsored video that some furry YouTuber has made in the past. As the name suggests, it's a whole community of furries. Mostly young furries. As of recording this, I joined this Amino 7 years and 85 days ago. At first, this app was a wholesome good time, with this Amino being the centerpiece to my experience. Back in the day, this place was pretty wholesome. Well, to my knowledge, was pretty wholesome. But one of my first memories of being on this app, specifically the furry app, was joining a group chat full of people, and then being eyed up by this 20-year-old Indonesian man who wanted me to draw his bear character doing NSFW things. And I mean bear. Motherfucker was built like a hairy fridge. So yeah, off to a great start. But in fairness, my next memories are far better, and my overall early experience with the app was wholesome and not weird. Or at least not weird for furry standards. I bought my first character, Itzel, off of someone for about 30 Amino coins, or through an art trade, I can't quite remember. I made art of other people's characters, expanded upon my own characters, and just posted random crap on it as well, because why not? I was like what, 13, 14? My first art trade was a bit rocky. The other person didn't know the difference between an art trade and a character trade. Luckily, I gave them a character I made as sort of a throwaway character to draw just to test the waters, and they gave me theirs to draw. So I did such, and they wanted to have my character and for me to draw their character and send the physical piece of paper to them to the United States. What did I do? Well, I fulfilled the art trade, but I ignored them. By accident, actually, because the notification systems on this app are horrendous. It's always been. I got back to them like 3 months later saying, fuck no, I'm not sending you this. Plus, you're not having my character, that's a character trade. We agreed to an art trade. But by then they'd already went deactive on the app. But it's a fun memory anyway. I bought a few other characters back then for real cheap, such as Chubby here, whose designer I can no longer find. I think he was about 320 Amino coins, and I don't have a high quality image of him anymore. But he's legit. The artist started charging IRL cash for their art after my bid won. I remember that clearly, because I think it was common even back then for artists to basically say, oh, I feel like I'm getting scammed here by taking this in-app currency. We're not doing that anymore. There was about a year or a year and a half where I didn't go on any aminos at all just because I was so depressed at that time of my life. I just felt so hollow. I didn't draw much for a whole year. It was just a blur. Feeling helpless and blah blah blah, you get the idea. Then I came back more cynical and less nice to the furry community. I continued to get better at art and made new characters and expanded on old ones. But my best memory of the Furry Amino is actually from last year. That time I scammed a furry pedo. Let me set the scene for you. A male user, 26, had an anime profile on the Furry Amino. It wasn't lolly, however. A quick fact check showed that all the characters he was fetishizing were roughly the age of 14. But not just that, no. He's engaging with minors on the app publicly, on his profile's wall and in the comments of his posts. Come here, my little kitten, etc, etc. Absolutely foul. I clock him and his nonsensical debauchery, and I hatch a plan. I go to my friend. Let's call him Jay. Jay mines Amino coins as a side hustle, but don't worry, Amino app creators don't care about that, they don't regulate it in any way. I go to him on the darkest Thursday night. I tell him, hey, Jay, there's this nonce, right? I want to scam him. Jay tips his fedora upwards. A glimmer of sly anticipation crosses his eyes. He speaks up, asks what I need. I tell him, coins. So Jay, my beloved, sends my burner account 700,000 coins, which is about $6 worth of coins nowadays. Keep the change, he adds, before I leave him to his misery business. Mr. Nonce, shall we call him, was looking to sell some of his characters. They consisted of your typical wolves and dragons and anthrolions paired with a selection of very chibi and childlike characters, some in maid outfits. I clock onto one that he doesn't want to sell as easily as the others, telling people that he's very tentative on letting the character go. I approach him in the comments, in my usual fashion. He tells me he's tentative in selling this childlike character. This character with 6 pieces of high quality art. But curiosity got the better of the nonce. He asked how much I was willing to give him. 500k. He snatched that offer up right away, transferring the character to one of my burner toy house accounts, once used for trading, but not now. I sent him about 20k coins at this point, which is probably about 5 cents worth of coins. I don't know, I can't do maths off the top of my head. But ha, Mr. Nonce, you have been bamboozled. Get wrecked, mate. Kill yourself and perish, peasant. I fled the scene, blocked him, and took away one of his most precious childlike characters, saving them from whatever that freak planned next. Of course he wouldn't raise it with the Amino staff, as that would alert them to his perverted nature. I felt accomplished, lightweight, and I had tried to do something against the darkness of this world. I let my burner account singe away in the furry rotting hell, ascending until I'm needed again. Yeah, this community is full of pedos and zoophiles, let's be real here. The admins don't care anymore, and in fact I don't think half of them are even still active on the furry community. How do I know this? Well, I have mentioned briefly before, but this character I bought for this video, yeah, I may have been scammed, I don't know. So the artist of the character that sold me this guy for roughly £20, I was to get the high quality images sent to me alongside his toy house. I did not get that, and instead had to dig through the old Mochi Raptor Amino instead to find them. His toy house? Still probably in the hands of the original artist. The King Treat Master List? It's been remade and most of the raptors that people paid for like 2 years ago are now null. And the person who sold them to me? Well, they got banned off the Furry Amino. So I asked 3 admins in total on the Furry Amino if they could at least tell me if this person had scammed people out of money, as I may be a victim of such. Their response? Yeah, like that's gonna help me, thanks a lot. And by the way, there was no follow-up to that really, it was just a oh well kind of deal. This was on my 3rd attempt to contact someone, by the way, so the admins either don't care or aren't there. I don't really have anything much else to say. The Furry Amino has been the most interesting Amino I've been on, just because of all this weird stuff happening. So let's move on to the next one. Now I've touched upon before my undying love for Pacific Rim, but I'm leaving this very short as I want to do a whole video on this. But this Amino was part of the reason I'm still here today, and I have so many fond and horrible memories of the time that I was here. It's a lot for me to think about, but I have to thank the leaders of this community for caring about it even though it's long dead. Thank you for caring about me. You're a local Jaeger freak, and thank you for helping me out when I needed it. Just watch this video, or this video by Sarah's Things. It's basically just a shit show and I don't want to get into it again. Wild things posted by wild people, all that rotating around these crappy little raptors.
She is very gorgeous to me!
Man, I'm still collecting what I can get a hold of medium quality Mochi raptors, just for the nostalgia. So if you have any vintage Mochis, hit my toy house up, Lamau. I lasted 2 days on this community. The first day I joined, I didn't have much time to do anything, I just set my profile up. On the second day, I kid you not, I got told to kill myself, that I was transphobic for calling myself a trans guy, short. And found out that even though they were telling people not to use it as a dating app, children were using it as a dating app. Yeah, fuck that. I kinda want to do a video on this separately, however it can be summed up by the uneducated people of the world playing as dictators. Post something they don't like because it's not their preferred method of holding a bunny, get fucked, muted for 24 hours, your post disabled and banned. Are you a 10-year-old with a hamster? Fuck you, the admins say. Your parents should be ashamed that you can't provide a detailed shelf cage for your animal. You're an abuser and a bad person, but I'm going to say it in a roundabout way that you don't understand because you're 10. And then you get the admins who end up not even owning a hamster or whatever animal they're complaining about. Now this needs to be a whole video on its own. From the absolute destruction of certain malpractices to the absolute freedom that some people have towards certain kinds of spiritual appropriation. This place is as unbalanced as your 25-year-old white woman with a t-shirt that says, "I am the witch you failed to burn." To summarise, it's a very interesting community. But no, Tom Holland is not your deity and giving him an offering of milk is not going to kill your ex-boyfriend. This covers a wide range of aminos, but despite the amount of hoops you always have to jump through to become a verified seller, and the scams that just run around like wild on these communities, I don't see it as that bad. Sure, I might be getting scammed as we speak, but honestly these amino communities are way better than the furry ones, and God forbid, the other ones I've mentioned in this video. So what happened? Why did Amino just go downhill? In 2021, Amino was bought over by a company called Media Labs who went on and made a lot of changes to the app. Amino is a wild place with so many good features that don't get used to their full abilities. But with such freedom, you get this Lord of the Flies situation where so many kids just start tearing at each other over menial little things. When this app was recently sold, they made it 13+ as they added some live streaming features, which were then just used by people to repost porn and etc. Eventually this feature did get removed, but by then the damage was already done. Communities had migrated to Discord, which isn't really better, or just shut down entirely. Not to mention the bugs that haven't been fixed for years, like follower and liked accounts not even being accurate, or the crashing, the constant crashing that puts the site down for days. This lovely error right here, you will see it at least multiple times a week. A lot of people complain about the ads, but I really don't see how they were any worse than any other ads run on any other social media. Like I said, the notifications don't work 80% of the time either, regardless of how you set them up. It's a mess. The in-app currency means nothing to anyone anymore. People scam and ghost on a daily basis, even though the place is mostly a deserted wasteland. Even the Furry Amino rarely has over 100 people on at any time. An amino that was paying furry YouTubers to advertise it is now dead. Whilst you have things like Fur Affinity that are still up and running and bustling with inflation porn. It's like what happened to Tumblr when they took away all the NSFW stuff, except it's on the flip side, and Tumblr's still infinitely worse. I still love all the features that Amino had in its concept, but I wish it was loved more by its developers. But then again, they gave anyone the power to create and manage their own communities of up to thousands of people. This sort of corruption was bound to happen. I hope you enjoyed this recount of my personal experiences on the app and just a little story about what's happened. There's far more I want to talk about, but it would drag this video out far too long. There's not much else to say. Amino is dying, and nobody is surprised.